Welcome and thank you for joining us today. This video is a joint production from Health Freedom Iowa and Iowans for Informed Consent. We will be discussing vaccine requirements and exemptions for the state of Iowa. The Iowa immunization requirements according to Iowa Code Chapter 139A.8 and Iowa Administrative Code 641-7.7 outline the immunization requirements for students attending licensed child care centers and elementary or secondary schools. Students shall have received the required immunizations and submit the Iowa Department of Public Health Certificate of Immunization or have a valid certificate of immunization exemption or provisional certificate of immunization. The state of Iowa currently accepts medical and religious exemptions. A medical exemption must be approved and signed by a licensed medical doctor, either an MD or DO, physician's assistant, or nurse practitioner. A chiropractor cannot sign a medical exemption form. A religious exemption form must be signed by a parent or legal guardian and notarized. A clergy does not have to sign a religious exemption form. You are not required to disclose your religion. Additionally, a doctor does not have to sign on your religious exemption form. Please note that Iowa Department of Public Health rules do not apply to immunization requirements for colleges and universities. You will need to contact the college or university directly for their immunization policies. Medical exemptions are granted at discretion of the physician. Medical exemptions are extremely difficult to get, even with qualifying contraindications. Doctors are coming under increasing scrutiny for granting medical exemptions. So many doctors are also coming under investigation for granting these exemptions and have been placed on probation, which means that an independent doctor reviews their records and signs off on them. This is the medical exemption form for the state of Iowa from the Department of Public Health website. You can download it from there, or you can also go to healthfreedomiowa.org/vaccine choice to get it, or you can download it from IowансForInformedConsent.com. A medical exemption does not automatically cover all vaccines. The doctor has to check off each vaccine that they want to approve. And then it says under here, if in the opinion of the physician, nurse practitioner, or physician assistant issuing the medical exemption, the exemption should be terminated or reviewed at a further date. An expiration date shall be recorded on the certificate of immunization exemption. So they are also not forever. Religious exemptions do not have to be a tenet of an established religion. However, they must be a deeply held religious belief. They cannot be philosophical or moral in nature, as Iowa does not have philosophical exemptions. This is the Iowa Department of Public Health Certificate of Immunization exemption for religious exemptions. It says directly on here that it may be granted to an applicant only if immunization conflicts with a genuine and sincere religious belief. A parent or guardian signs it in front of a notary public. It cannot be based merely on philosophical, scientific, moral, personal, or medical opposition to immunizations. And it is only valid for religious reasons when notarized. Both exemptions state that a child granted an exemption may be excluded from child care or during school during a disease outbreak, and the time can range depending on the type of disease. An outbreak, it could range from several days to over a month. It recently came up with the current pandemic about the department rules stating that during a state of emergency that exemptions can be suspended and immunizations can be forced required to attend school. The Department of Public Health and the governor both came out and said that it is not a blanket just because there's an outbreak, all exemptions are suspended. outbreak has to correspond with the type of shot. So if it's a measles epidemic, then they could suspend exemptions on measles shots. It can't be because there's a COVID epidemic that they can suspend all shots or all exemptions at this point. It has to, the shot has to correlate to the disease that is the current epidemic. And if that makes sense. If you need more help, if you have more questions regarding that, you can always email us at healthfreedomiowa@gmail.com or reach out to us on our Facebook page. When you go to the doctor and you decline vaccinations for the first time, or any time for that matter, it does not matter what reason you are declining vaccines, you will most likely be asked to sign a refusal to vaccinate form from the American Academy of Pediatrics. This form states, I know that failure to follow the recommendations about vaccination may endanger the health or life of my child and others with whom my child might come in contact. Due to the previous statement, this form may be used against you in the future as you are admitting to child endangerment. We recommend that you do not sign this form. If the doctor's office will not let you leave without signing it, calmly state that you need to consult with your lawyer before signing it. This is what the refusal to vaccinate form may look like. You'll see your doctor's office's logo and information on there. You may not, it might look just like this. It varies from office to office. They will check off each vaccine that was discussed and each vaccine that was declined. And then they go in here and they talk about how you've been provided with information and given the opportunity to read each of the vaccine information statements. These are not the inserts that come in the packaging. These are the one-page leaflets that they hand out with minimal information on it. Also states that you've been given the opportunity to discuss your doctor's recommendations and you continue to refuse. Goes on to state that some vaccine preventable diseases are common in other countries and that my unvaccinated child could easily get one of these diseases while traveling or from another traveler. If your child does not receive the vaccines according to the medically accepted schedule, the consequences may include contracting the illness. The outcomes of the illness may include one or more of the following types of cancer, pneumonia, illness requiring hospitalization, death, brain damage, paralysis, meningitis, seizures, and deafness, or other permanent effects of these vaccine preventable diseases, which oddly enough are also side effects of said vaccines. Also states that you can transmit the disease to others, including those too young to be vaccinated or those with immune problems, possibly requiring my child to stay out of child care or school and requiring someone to miss work to stay home with my child during disease outbreaks. It goes on to say that despite all this, I've decided to decline. So they go over a lot of fear mongering here and then want you to say that you're still declining. Then they would have you sign it in front of a witness. And then this sometimes accompanies it. It's some information for you, like resources for you to look at. It's question and answers, basically a little bibliography worth of information. They do not always hand this out. Some do, some don't. Just kind of depends on the doctor's office. And then we have the Immunization Registry Information System, also known as IRIS. It provides computerized tracking of immunizations for children, adolescents, and adults who are seen in a variety of public and private health care provider sites throughout the state. The IRIS program is able to document individual immunizations, track vaccine usage, and vaccine distribution. IRIS has the capability to instantly assess participating patients' immunization status and create reminder notices and recall notices for immunizations that are due or past due. It also, the recall part is that if there's a recall on a lot of vaccines and you happen to receive a vaccine out of that lot, they will then be able to see that you received a recalled vaccine and notify you. As individuals and families move or change healthcare providers, IRIS will consolidate their immunization records, making these records accessible to new immunization providers. Patients, parents, and guardians requesting voluntary opt-out must also notify their healthcare providers to prevent creation of additional records in IRIS, either via electronic submission from an electronic health record system or direct entry in IRIS. Requests to remove records must be in writing and must be sent to the attention of the IRIS coordinator. You can also go to our websites to get more information. All this information is provided on healthfreedomiowa.org/vaccine choice. It gives you the administrative codes and the Iowa codes for all this information and explains pretty much everything we've discussed in this video. You can also go here to download the medical exemption form or the religious exemption form. We also have links to certificate of immunization exemption Q&A documents provided by the Department of Public Health. There's also a certificate of immunization exemption letter provided by the Department of Public Health to immunization partners. And then there's links to the actual full-blown codes and administrative codes, and then to the Department of Public Health's website. We also have links to a few other websites, Iowans for Informed Consent. Their website is iowansforinformedconsent.com. And then there's also links to learn the risk, National Vaccine Information Center, and then a Facebook group for vaccine information. That again is healthfreedomiowa.org. If you just go to healthfreedomiowa.org and then go to the resources and vaccine choice, it'll take you directly to that. So thank you for joining us today. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel so that this information can get more views and more people can be educated and informed. Have a great day.